Good evening and welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. It's time for more racing action here in SFR. It is Division 1, Round 6 for the Chinese Grand Prix. My name is Jamie Morris, and alongside me tonight is Arin Madsell. How are you doing?
Yeah, all good, mate, as always. Chinese Grand Prix. Let's get it going. Obviously, 18 drivers. Volokongan won it last week. No Volokongan today, and no championship leader, Jensen. So it's an opportunity to the guys around him to obviously get close to him or take the lead off of him. I think Rising Star might be his closest rival, obviously his teammate as well. But yeah, China it's a very difficult track. I've got to say, obviously, it's a long sweeping corners you get, and it's difficult to get along with. Obviously, you've got to keep in mind with the traction as well. So yeah, obviously these guys, Division 1, of course, which obviously the quickest guys in the division. I'm sure these guys put plenty of practice in to cope with these long sweeping corners. I'm not a fan of it. As you probably saw yesterday, I was really struggling yesterday. But yeah, no, let's get this rolling. Show on the road.
You've got Pocket Valley Guy and the McLaren of Langford on the circuit. No Volokongan, but there is Shizu Hazara or ETA Hazara. Hazara finished second on Monday's race in PSG left 2, so he's off to a fine start in the kicks out, but he's reserved here tonight as well. So everybody fearing Hazara. Remember, he won the Grand Prix last season in China, but picked himself up a post-race penalty due to contact with Nordis down in towards turn 6. And Harry Kane was the one that took the victory in the end. It was his second win in a row, or second consecutive win in China in season 15 and season 16. Can he do 3 in a row? Harry Kane. But we've got 2 cars making their way down towards the hairpin. It is Langfeld, and PVG, Pocket Valley Guy, is back. The driver who was racing his car last week was Volokongan, but Pocket Valley Guy is here to support his teammates. So we flick our way around. Turn 14, the final corner with the DRS wide open. We're going up over Langfeld first, as he's the first one on the circuit as we head down towards turn 1 we go. Just let the engine do the brake in, as you don't want to overdo this one because it can be very difficult indeed, very tempting to carry more speed in towards turn 1 and turn 2. Turn 3 and turn 4 can be very difficult, especially with traction on the exit. We see plenty of people lose the back end of the car. I think PVG has already made a mistake in towards the first few corners. Here comes Langfeld down towards turn 6, when we saw back in 2010 that huge crash when I think it was the Saab at the time who hit Sebastian Buemi, and I think it was Kumura Kobayashi as well. I think it was Kobayashi who caused the crash with Rubens Barrichello and Antonio Liuzzi at the time in 2010, that massive crash. It was a fantastic race as well. Here we are coming towards the double left-hander where we saw Valtteri Bottas spin under a safety car in 2017 as he tried to warm up his, I think it was the dry compound tyres on that day. So we make our way now towards the slow speed corners before we prepare ourselves for this dipping right-hander we go, as we look at that, just fighting and wrestling with the car constantly on the exit as we head down this 1 kilometre straight then, where the overtaking will be happening down this straight with the DRS wide open as he uses the rest of his overtake button he has left in his disposal to use. Here we are, just pick your braking point before the 100-metre board, slow the car down, scrub off all the speed, then it's all about traction on the exit corner. Very important to break traction, as a certain somebody in this party knows, as we head towards the final corner with in 5th gear, DRS wide open as Langfeld sets a 31.1. In the background is Pocket Valley Guy, P2, 3 tenths off, and the Alpine of Noldus, or Williams and Noldus, starts the flying lap.
Yeah, Pocket Valley Guy I was on board with. Rising Star goes up to that pole position mark, 30.9. I was on board with Pocket Valley Guy, and he had a decent lap. He got a bit twitchy through the final corner. I think he basically took way too much curb, so he bit and settled the car a bit, so he lost a little bit of time. So it's only the first lap, so obviously these guys are going to improve. 30.6 now from Laser, obviously Pocket Valley Guy's teammate, putting a 30.6. And yeah, as you may know, the hairpin, obviously I hated the hairpin yesterday. Well, I just hate the track in general. Noldus goes 30.3. I can't remember what the pole lap was yesterday, but it definitely was in the 30s. I don't know if it was a high 30 or a low 30, can't remember. But we normally see these guys beating that lap pretty quickly, and I think Norris may have beaten it. I think Hazaras definitely has now beaten it now with 30.038. Nice to see Hazara back, of course. He's had a couple of races out. I think he's only a reserve as well. Obviously, well, he is, because obviously Bear Remy is normally in that other Red Bull seat, but obviously, as you can see, Hazara's in that seat today, so it's nice to see him back in the race today.
Do you know how fantastic a 30.0 is? That is amazing. Ickle is back. The Canadian driver has returned after the problem in the stewards room in the Mexican Grand Prix. He took a few races off, but the Canadian driver is back in the Williams, and he's currently third place with 30.5. That's a very strong lap time from Nordis as well, in second place with a 30.3. But Hazara completely obliterates that time by 0.3 of a second. That is huge, especially on your first lap as well. It's incredible to see how skilled these drivers are. The high caliber of these drivers are able to get in qualifying and set those benchmarks immediately in the early stages of qualifying. Now, Harry Kane is on a lap time. Hazara is just in front of him. So will Hazara pay the diligence towards Harry Kane and give him the toe down the straight? We don't really see much teamwork from these two, Hazara and Harry Kane. Last season, they were fighting all the way down to the wire on the last lap. But Hazara is giving Matthias the slipstream. The two Norwegian drivers helping each other out as Harry Kane benefits. Now, let's talk about Matthias, because he's really struggled in the last few races, as he said the worst race was at the Hungarian Grand Prix. So he has really been on the back foot this season, and a massive disappointment in the Imola Grand Prix, where he should have won it, but unfortunately a penalty demoted him down. But if he appealed it, he would have won the race. But here comes Matthias towards the line. It's a 30.3. It's a Red Bull 1-2, and finally he's back on form. But we've still got plenty of drivers out there ready to set a lap time as well. Sweaty F8, I think he's got a qualifying bad, so he has to retire in the pit lane.
Yeah, so that's a good result so far for Red Bull. Obviously, both drivers, Bear Remy as well, of course, hadn't had the greatest start of the season, as we're all aware of. But is this where the season starts now? Maybe we'll see. Obviously, no, they're currently now 1-2. As obviously Hazara, we know he is a quick driver. Obviously, as you can see, he's on pole currently. He won a race. What race was it? Like he won. He did last to first, didn't he, with Volakongan last week? Obviously, last season, obviously he did that. So Hazara has won a couple of races last season. I think he was actually one of the contenders for the championship earlier on last season, but he decided to back out and go to reserve, so we didn't see him for the rest of the season. But like I said, it's nice to see him back in it, and hopefully this is where the Red Bull season finally starts to get going. Of course, they are the defending Constructors champions as well. So yeah, hopefully we'll see the return of the Matthias that we know, Jamie, and obviously he's already put in that second place at the moment. I think China is pretty strong for him. Obviously, like we said, we all know he's won. I think it was 11 races last season. But yeah, no, I think has he won a race this season? I don't think he has yet, has he?
No, he had to take it away from Imola, if you remember that race, with him and Raz's Star making contact. It was a shame because he drove a brilliant race, as we thought Matthias was bad, but unfortunately, I don't think he won the race. I think he finished on the podium but got dropped off the podium. If he did win, then he got dropped off. So he's still yet to win a Grand Prix, Matthias, after winning 11 last season, still yet to pick up one, which is not really the type of thing we thought we'd be saying this week. But he's back on the circuit in P2, so let's see if he's going for another lap time. No, he's not. So he's done multiple laps, as this is his run plan in qualifying all the time, to use one set of compound tyres and go for multiple runs as well, just to get a feel for the track, and also probably save a set of soft compound tyres later, just in case there is that late safety car that we may see during the races. But sometimes we don't really see safety cars late racing because it is Division 1, and we've barely seen safety cars this season, so these guys are kept in nice and clean, as well as we've got the main competitor for Nordis and Hazara on the track. Nordis has been also one to watch out for because he hasn't scored a podium just yet, but his pace has been phenomenal. Yes, in Hungary, he got taken out in turn 1 by a Ferrari driver. I think it was at the time Carl, I'm not quite sure. But Nordis has had some tremendous drives as well, been so close to a podium. We got one back in Mexico, but I think Ickle appealed his penalty, or somebody got their penalty removed, and they promoted themselves up the order, therefore pushing Nordis off the podium. But his pace is still being very good as well. One driver is more a rising star. He was second in the championship a few races ago. Now he's down into P4. So Rising Star's also been lacking a bit of pace, it must be said, because he can't seem to catch up with that DRS train, can Rising Star, in the first stint. So he's been dropping backwards slightly after a very strong start for the man from Saudi Arabia. Picked up 2 podiums this season, and I think Mercedes have got it in their grasp. But unfortunately, Jensen is not here tonight, as regards Nordis and Laser on the fly. Laser towards the end of the sector is a 10th up, so looking to try and possibly beat Ickle in P4. But can he find more time in this last sector? Look at the battery he has stored up. You can be very tactical with your ERS as well, because if you use it early doors and too much, you won't have the battery left for this straight, where obviously a lot of people will deploy it on this back straight to gain more top speed. Here we are, coming down towards turn 14, just looking to break just before the 100-meter board, as Rising Star, talk about him, goes into P3, so a better qualifying for Rising Star this time round, as he's P3. Here comes Laser now towards the final corner. He's used all of his battery, heads towards the line, and goes P5.
Yeah, good luck there from Laser. Obviously, Laser is another one that's had not the ideal start of the season. But yeah, Naldus, he's also up on his time. He's a 10th and a half up at the moment. That will obviously put him up to P2, as the obviously second, third, and fourth are really close with the times at the moment, but not as close to Hazara. I think Hazara might also be improving. He's somewhere behind him is Hazara, but that he might have just lost quite a lot of time there. Taking too much curb, and he backed out straight away from that. He lost all that time from that. See what Hazara's going to be doing, see if he backs out or not. Obviously, I know he was improving on sector 1. He's come through the final corner, turn 14, DRS, ERS, all using up, and he goes even quicker, half a second quicker. That's a 29.5. That is some lap time.
Well, he's not in PSGL F2 for a reason. That's for sure. 29.5. Unbelievable C to D. Everybody been looking at that thinking, how the hell am I going to beat that? But yeah, it's going to be a difficult race for some, but usually Hazara does start in last place every time he does race in SFR. I'm surprised he has qualified, to be honest with you, because him and Volakongan do the exact same strategy as starting last, but it doesn't always work. We see Volakongan get stuck in traffic every time he starts in last, or contact is made, as Racing in the Alpine goes into PA. Racing has been very consistent, it must be said, this season, a new driver this season, and ever since he turned up in Mexico, he scored some decent results. He's currently P7 in the championship, and he scored a lot of top 10 finishes as well, so he's been very consistent as Fireblaze goes up into P7 in the Ferrari. Samid has retired from the session as well, so there's 2 people without a lap time, as Power, the Polishman, goes into P12. The Haasman, as Glock and Power are in the Haas, but so far Glock's done a good job, he's slowly but surely finding his feet once again. He did struggle towards the start of the season, and ever since he came back, just been nowhere. But I think at the Belgian Grand Prix had a decent race and qualifying session. Here in China as well, also having a decent qualifying session in P3. So let's see how he does in the race.
Yeah, so obviously all these guys now are pretty much on a slow lap. I don't think there is anyone on a quick lap. Obviously 5 minutes to go, so everyone will be coming back into the pit lane, getting that very important lap, the most important lap of the day, getting ready for that. As we normally see these days now, is all these guys coming in about between the 3 minute and 5 minute mark. We'll probably won't see really anyone out. Yeah, there's not literally everyone's coming in, so not a chance. And there's one thing you got to look out for, mainly in the race. I got this. I think a lot of people, I think everyone does get it. There is a bit of a glitch when you enter the pit lane, especially like in the race. Like I said, you do get a track limit warning when you enter the pit lane. Obviously, bit unfair as you are entering the pit lane. You're not actually gone off the track. So if you do get a warning and you do get a 3-second penalty, you can most likely appeal it, because you most likely will get that removed. Obviously, that warning removed. It's all on a warning. It's not really on a penalty. But that's one thing that you got to look out for, is that if one of these drivers get a 3-second penalty, it's most likely going to be one of the warnings from entering the pit lane. So that's one thing you got to look out for.
Indeed, I remember Matthias picking himself up a 3-second time penalty back in Abu Dhabi, last race of the season, or penultimate race of the season, because it was Silverstone, which was the last race. But yes, good point there, because he picked himself up a penalty, and I thought Rising Star would win the race, but actually it was Harry Kane who won the race to pick up his 11th win of the season, most wins out of anybody in SFR history. But so far, this man in P2 hasn't picked up a win just yet this season, which is bizarre to say. But yeah, every driver has their ups and downs. The championship as well, swings in roundabouts, and it's completely changed. It's amazing to see how much things can change in one season, or should I say, 1 or 2 months apart. But we'll see. Harry Kane's very strong. He's a very composed driver, very relaxed and chilled out. We know his racecraft, we know his race etiquette and sportsmanship. He's a very good driver indeed, as I've raced against him in the past as well. Hoping to race alongside him next week in Singapore when I do make my debut or not. But I may boycott that one because the likes of Olakongan, Hazara, I want to win here, but it's going to be very difficult. But behind him, I think, is Langford also on an outlap, so Harry Kane can be very careful not to hit him.
I like Langford's tactic here. It's to try and stay close to Harry Kane for the whole lap. Sometimes it does work, but obviously with the dirt, you don't really get a lot of dirty air these days on these modern cars. But this is a good tactic from Langford, because obviously we know he's near the back end of the grid in Division 1, as we don't really see him that often. But yeah, what Langford was trying to do is keep with Harry Kane to try and gain a bit of slipstream and time, obviously on the main straight. So we'll keep an eye on Langford as well, see if he can improve, and obviously if he can and stay with Harry Kane, he will definitely go up there, because he knows that Harry Kane is a quick driver.
The problem with this, see, if Harry Kane makes a mistake, and just like that one in towards turn 6, as he was up in the first sector by 700 second there, but bits of a snap of oversteer there as he locked the brakes up going in towards the hairpin as he comes through turn 7 and turn 8 now, carrying the speed into gear, revving out as he's down through the gears as we gradually get slower in this particular part of the section, the most technical part where you need your setup as well. Look at that, Harry Kane takes too much curb on the inside, a massive wheel spin there. So this has been a scruffy lap for Matthias, but he's 2 tenths down. Will he back off or will he give Langford the slipstream? Let's see if he does or not.
Langford is currently 10th and a half up at the moment, so it is definitely working for him. But at the moment, Langford needs to improve by at least probably half a second to get up to Blue Rocket's time. But again, like you said, Harry Kane's not backing out, so he's carrying on.
Surprised, you know, but that's, at the same time, he's good friends with Langford as he exits turn 40, the hairpin. So on board with McLaren driver Langford as Harry Kane dives off to the pit lane as the DRS is wide open. Where can Langford go? He goes up into P14. Now, I've tried to do the same thing. I tried to follow a quick drive. I started my lap time purposely behind somebody, not too close or not too far away, but it backfired on me because the driver in front of me ended up making a mistake and I was blocked by him in qualifying. And I tried to report him in qualifying, but apparently he was technically on a lap time, so he wasn't obliged to get out of the way, but he didn't really show his sportsmanship of getting out of the way. I feel like he did it on purpose because I was in P3, P4, he was on pole, and he was my teammate as well, and I gave him slipstream. As Laser goes up into P2 with a 30.2, incredible lap time from Laser, the man that's second in the championship, as Nordis now heads towards that final corner. Let's see how he takes it, where Alex Albon crashed, as Nordis comes across the line. It's P2 with a 30.1. In the background, that's a Sauber. Which one is it going to be? It is Tiger Bucher, who is P16. But the tires are coming in thick and fast. Where's Clark? And Clark is a 10th down in the middle sector. Rising Star is headed through the middle sector, he's a 10th up in the first sector. Ickle is P7 in the Williams as Rising Star now makes his way towards the end of the middle sector. Where can he find the time? He's only 500s up in the middle sector. Not good enough, but as he collapses the curb, loses the back end of the car as he struggles once more as well to find the rhythm going towards the slow speed corners as he takes a very tight approach in the right hander. Now back to the throttle as we open up the DRS very shortly, as the DRS is open now, using the overtake he has left available to him as he makes his way down towards the hairpin. Let's see how he tackles this one. Nicely on the brakes there, in towards 14, kisses the apex, gets back to the throttle very nicely, and we'll see what his reward is. Kaname goes up into P4 in the Alpine, rises, a massive oversteer as he hit the curb there, as he crossed the line. It's P8 still, unfortunately. Blue Rocket goes into P2, by the way.
And Racing goes up to P3. Good lap there from Racing. And he's very close to. Blue Rocket goes up to P2 and Racing up to P3. So Nolda's down to P4 now. So I don't know where that came from Racing, but a great lap from him. and obviously no one able to catch up to Hazara. That's still a fucking great lap time. Sorry for the language.
Your classification. So it's Hazara, Red Bull on pole ahead of Blue Rocket by 0.5 of a second. 3,000 separate Blue Rocket and Racing. Racing's best ever qualified so far in SFR. The finishman is P3. Lourdes is P4 ahead of Laser, Canadian P6 ahead of Harry Kane, Glot in 8th ahead of Rising Star, Ico Rise off the top 10, Fireblaze, a disappointing qualifying for him in P11, Power, the Polishman in P12 ahead of PVG, Lightball 40 ahead of the Kick Salbers of Dragon, Tagibuka, Samin in the Ferrari 17th and 20 F8 we know, who has a qualified, but that's my point as well. Basically, if you start your lap close enough to somebody, you don't really pick up the dirty air. I find it better to be in somebody's dirty air, which is unrealistic of the characteristics of the real life F1, because in the dirty air you'll understeer, oversteer, but in this game you can stick to the back of them. So I'm using that trick more and more often. I'm not trying to get too close, but close enough to get a slipstream and be in the clean, dirty air to get myself further along. But in Spain it didn't work out. I ended up qualifying 6th. I should have been higher because I was 3/10 up and I'm aiming for pole, but I think the guy ahead was trying to play clever tactics with me, and it didn't work at the end, so we'll see. But here in China, we'll see what the strategy is. Hazara, though, people behind him need to find a way to get past him towards turn 1, or stay in the DRS for the whole race, because if he breaks out of DRS, I dare say that's game over the guys behind.
Yeah, and obviously you got to make sure you're not battling too hard for obviously we saw a lot of that, and unfortunately I was in one of those battles where a lot of guys around me was battling, I think, too hard, and the guys ahead, so obviously I think it was like top 6 or top 7, was able to pull away, just because the pack that I was in was just battling way too hard, and I was a bit annoyed with it, but obviously people like to do that, and it is unfortunate sometimes that it happens, but I've got to give a good shout out to Adams. I don't know if you got it on stream or not yesterday, Indigo, but that move, fair play to him. I mean, to be honest, I did take avoided action. I had to. I don't think I had a choice to take avoided action. Obviously, otherwise it would have been contact, and I'd have lose I think 2 positions because of that. But I still want to give him some respect for that move, because obviously the space was there. Why not? He did say he broke himself, but he was able to still get the move done. So that was a good move. Obviously, I think Daniel Ricciardo did a very similar move back in 2018. I think it was on Valtteri Bottas. That was for the lead around this track as well. That was for the lead as well. So did a very similar move to that.
And Owen, hopefully you're having a great time tonight. Yes, we certainly are. Me and Owen Mads are in the comments box for you, presenting the Chinese Grand Prix as week in, week out, every single time, as we enjoy commentating as well over you guys. Blue Rocket, is back. So he's only finished 1 race so far. It's not been particularly a good season for Blue Rocket, because he's made so many mistakes. He's picked up penalties, loads of penalties, as he's continuing where he left off last season when he picked up so many penalties. It actually promoted him off the podium. And I talked about him being a championship contender because he had it against Harry Kane with the constant scrapping he was fighting with in every single race. But this season, I must say, it has been a disappointing. So Blue Rocket is in P2 so far on the Mini Compound tyres. So he's definitely returned with a bang, but we'll see. He needs to overtake Hazara immediately, as in the background goes Racing as he lag spikes everywhere. But 80 drivers on the grid tonight, not a full house, but attendance is always good around here in SFR. As Owen, thank you so much for hosting yesterday.
Yeah, that's fine. Obviously, I'm kind of used to it. I used to be an admin in a division, and obviously an ex-director as well. So I kind of know the process anyway. Of it all, but yeah, no, that's fine. I suppose I'm on like the second admin of the division now, as you could say. But yeah, I'm looking at Racing at the moment, and yeah, his lag spikes is just all over the place. Hopefully that won't become an issue when we go into the main race. He's not doing it badly anymore, but hopefully his internet has sorted itself out, and it won't interrupt anyone's race.
No Nico Rassenberg here tonight because he has a damaged arm, I think, due to PSGL F2 after he made contact with a few people. So get well soon, Nico. Hope to see you back on the grid in the RB. But so far, Blue Rocket is Peter in the RB. I was about to see the lights go underway then. There are the panels. 4, 5 lights, and we are underway immediately. Blue Rocket gets a rocket of a start as he's already side by side with Hazara as we head down towards turn 1. Here comes Nordus of racing. We go through, firing through, in towards turn 1 we go. With Blue Rocket trying to take the lead immediately off the sister Red Bull team, and he does, crucially as well, to put himself into first place. Further back, we've got Kane versus Rise of Star fighting away for P6 and P7, but Hurricane almost spun the car. I think he has. He's lost the car. He's fallen down the order. What a miserable start for Hurricane as we fire our way through towards turn 6 then. So I went off board momentarily, and he did spin the car as well. Lost it by himself on traction. He has fallen down into P12. What a miserable start already from the defending champion of SFR as we see these guys part the pressure on. Nordus is already up into P3s then. So great start from Nordus and Laser. Both made in one place each as Racing unfortunately has lost P3. Now under pressure from his teammate behind of Kaname.
Yeah, a lot of those guys out of turn number 3 just lost the back end. About 5 cars literally went through a half spin. So these guys still getting obviously their tyres warmed up. And again, there's a Haas or a block right in front of Hurricane losing the back end. So these guys struggling for tyre temperature. Obviously, that's what you've got to be wary of. Is the tyres are still going to be freezing by the time they come off the grid. But here comes Hazara now on Blue Rocket. Side by side they go into the hairpin. Blue Rocket obviously has that inside line. Blue Rocket good defending, and Zara has to stay behind as Nordus is up to P3 with Laser behind him.
Indeed then, so Hazara immediately put the pressure up, almost lost it at the final corner too, just took too much curve on the outside, but saved the car looking for him. Nordus and Hazara are back together. Remember what happened last season when Hazara centered down the inside of Nordus, pushed him off the circuit. Ooh, Rise of Star. And look at this, Laser and Nordus going side by side, so Laser now puts himself into P3, muscles his way past. This is the man that's P2 in the championship. His main rival, Jensen, is not here tonight, so Laser could potentially take the lead in the championship for the first time since last season in the early stage. But Hazara outbreaks himself towards turn 6, opens up the door for Laser, but still stays in P2 so far. Rise of Star on the podium tonight, says Burmeister. Well, interestingly, we talked about Rise of Star yesterday in the podium interviews. Rise of Star and Burmeister have been helping each other as well. As we know, Rise of Star is a very quick driver on his day, as he's picked up wins and podiums in the last season and last few races. So Burmeister's got a good mentor. We know Rise of Star is very quick, and he's also a very nice guy too, fighting for a championship with Mercedes. Mercedes are first in the championship as well. But Blue Rocket's putting away from Hazara as Laser's right to the back of him.
Yeah, so Blue Rocket currently doing well at the moment. Obviously, Hazara's got on that harder compound tyre, so he'll definitely be on the quicker tyre by the time they come into the pits, and obviously Hazara comes on to the medium compound tyres. So Hazara's main concern is, I'll try and get past Blue Rocket and try and pull a gap, but that's going to be difficult on these hard compound tyres to begin with. So as long as he's with Blue Rocket, like I said, he'll be on the quicker tyres to begin with. He'll lose a bit of time when these guys on the mediums pits. He'll lose about 3 or 4 seconds. Obviously, he'll be pitting later as well. But Blue Rocket goes a little bit wide, as Zara might have a little look, but he doesn't go for it. As Laser's looking good. He is on the charge at the moment. Seems like the old Laser is back for today, and it's nice to see that. Obviously, this is taking a good advantage for himself. Like you said, Laser's somehow up there in the championship. But again, consistency is key, and that's what he's been doing. He's just been staying consistent, not really making any mistakes. I mean, he's not been up there, but obviously his rival's not been turned up or just not had a very good one race, and Laser's able to take advantage of that in the championship wise anyway. But yeah, no, it's nice to see Laser in that podium position at the moment. I think this is actually the first time as well this season he's been up in that podium position. Hazara's losing the back end once again, so Laser might take advantage of that.
I wonder if Hazara's setup is fine-tuned towards this circuit. Is it more of a qualified setup than a race setup? Because we saw going out wide plenty of times, and now he takes the lead of the Grand Prix back up into first place. Will Laser follow through? No, he'll settle into P3 as they all fire up in towards turn 14. It's such a heavy braking zone because you carry so much speed, And it's a common thing when we see people hit the back of each other or tap the back of each other as well in towards the braking zones of that corner. Ickle is fighting with Takabuka and also Sweaty F8, who had a qualifying ban. And Sweaty F8 makes a lunge in the final corner, makes it stick, and puts himself into P40 ahead of Ickle, who has returned back as well. He had mega pace in the first few races, but he did say tonight he will be struggling as we see once again Hazara and Blue Rocket getting close for comfort. But we know that's a Laser and Blue Rocket and Rising Star. But there's been a problem with Racing's internet because he keeps teleporting backwards and forwards as well, because we have no idea where he is right now. There's contact between those two, but unfortunately...
Oh, now he's gone right ahead of Rising Star once again. So, yeah, this is going to... Obviously, I'm guessing Rising Star is going to get the same of what we're getting. So Rising Star is not going to be happy with this at all.
Yeah, it's confusing me so much because I thought Rising Star overtook him, then all of a sudden he's back up into P5. So, yeah, it's now unfortunately it's not working out as he teleports once again close to the back of Nordis. So I really hope there's no major contact as well. Hopefully it goes if he's inside somebody. But Blue Rocket, look at that, squirming out of turn 13 here. And let's see if Laser decides to go for an overtake. He's struggling with the back end of the car. This is a critical overtake because Hazara has broken the DRS, but Laser now powers past him. And here comes, is that Racing going for a move down towards turn 14? It is. He puts himself into P4, but Nordis outbreaks himself. Here's the back of Blue Rocket. Rocket goes off the track, and here comes Racing, but Nordis gets a better exit around the outside as he puts himself into P4. We have no idea where Racing is right now. He could be anywhere on the circuit. He keeps teleporting backwards and forwards, so he's down into P7, but a lag spike will probably put him into P5 and P6 as it has done as in the last few times as well. Pocket Valley guy now is looking for a move, but he gets through him as he puts himself now into P7, but that could change instantly. But Laser, crucially now, is back in the DRS range. That was so important because we saw Blue Rocket squirming in the high-speed corner, not able to stay close towards Hazara, so Laser had to overtake him to make sure he keeps that contact with Hazara, keeps in contact under a second of a DRS.
Yeah, so Racing has now got overtaken by Glock. I think he's probably out of the session now by the looks of it because he's lost a lot of time and he doesn't seem to be lagging all over the place. Power has actually left the session. He's actually retired in the pits as well, so that's game over for him, unfortunately. But yeah, like you said, that was a critical move from Laser on the previous lap to get that overtake on Blue Rocket because it was just over a second, but Laser is able to pull that gap right back into Hazara once again and back into the DRS. So let's see if he's going to go for the overtake.
It's incredible to see that Laser's found some pace once again in the Aston Martin because he has been struggling in the last few races as we all make our way through turn 14. As Kaname gets past Rising Star, he's on the hardcore power tyre. He likes to go for the ultimate stint, does Kaname. He did it back in the Hungarian Grand Prix, but left it a bit too late as he couldn't hunt down both Mercedes, as he left it a bit too late in Belgium as well, as he was right behind the leaders, but didn't have the laps to try and overtake him either. He was fighting with Fireblaze on the last lap of the Grand Prix. So Fireblaze has missed 2 chances for a podium in the last 2 races in Imola, in Hungary, and in the Belgian Grand Prix. Look at Hurricane now forcing his way back on Racing Imola. So Racing has been demoted into P11 as Kane puts himself into P10. It's a shame how massively he has struggled this season, but he did tell me he hasn't practiced as much either. So if he does start practicing again, as Pocket Valley guy just literally squirming as he's finally left the session here, as his internet can no longer take it, and he's out of the session. It's a shame because he qualified so well. He qualified in P3, but his internet has let him down. He usually finishes out the top 10 as Pocket Valley guy once again almost lost the car in towards turn 11 and 12, but luckily saves it. He's under massive pressure from Glock, Fireblaze, and his old rival Hurricane out behind. But back towards the top 6. This is reminiscent, you know, of yesterday's race. The top 6 pulling away and 7th place.
Yeah, but these guys have not really been banning too hard. I mean, obviously with Pocket Valley guy leaves in the back end, he's actually just quite a lot of time, 2.7 seconds. Glock is now going to get that moved in quite easily. I think Fireblaze is going to follow him through as well. Yes, he is, of course. There we go. Fireblaze followed through. Pocket Valley guy down to 9th, but surprisingly to see Harry Kane down in 10th position. Yeah, quite able to find his feet here, and It might. Well, I think he might have lost the front pack runners now. Obviously, if Glock can't catch up, obviously I know Pocket Valley guy was leading this pack, but he obviously now Glock's taken that lead again out of this second pack as such. But again, Glock doesn't even really seem to be gaining that much. Obviously, half a second at the moment, but with Glock, he's not going to have that DRS, so Fireblaze and Pocket Valley guy is probably going to go straight for him. Again, the Pocket Valley guy hits the back of Fireblaze and then he loses the car as well from doing that, but gets away with it. But yeah, Pocket Valley guy seems to be struggling quite a lot, to be fair. But like I said, with the traction around this track, it's very difficult, and that's why I don't like it. It's because it's just hard with traction.
Yeah, and we see that from Blue Rocket as well, because he was squirming away in towards turn 11 there as he tried to exit the corner, as he continues fights with the rear end. Maybe the medium compound tyres are starting to give the ghost very quickly. We know how easily they can deteriorate, and Noldus now on the hard compound tyres is setting up a move potentially on Blue Rocket, but he will have the DRS himself. So let's see if Noldus tries to go for it down towards turn 14. He pulls out the slipstream, but he's a bit too far away as Blue Rocket might go down the inside in towards 14 there, but not really. Close enough to make a move. He could have broken the DRS easily there if he went for that move, but luckily he didn't, as somebody has gone off the background. Is that Glock? It is Glock.
Yeah, I don't know what's happened, but he was maybe locked up too hard and just lost the back end going into the hairpin. I'm not 100% sure, but he was up to 7th. So really not going well there. Sweaty and Pocket Valley guy go side by side up to turn number 1. Pocket Valley guy will have the inside line. Sweaty goes a little bit too wide, but again, because he goes a little bit wide, he has the better speed going to turn number 2, but it don't matter anyway because Pocket Valley guy is ahead of him.
This is a nice fight brewing between Blue Rocket and Noldus, as Noldus tried to make a move on the inside, but Blue Rocket managed to defend against the Williams driver, who's trying to get his first official podium of the season after being taken away back at the Mexican Grand Prix, the first race of the season. Trying to get up there as Hazara then sees that Blue Rocket's all over the back of him. Laser has controlled this race really well, as it was very important on that lap not to break the DRS, because I dare say if that DRS was broken, then Hazara would have pulled away, because he's got such mighty pace, proven in qualifying, and when you break the DRS trade, it's easy to pull away as well, as there's no DRS to back us up. But look at Laser taking a very wide line there out of turn 13 now, with Hazara use the DRS once again, as he'll just slip past him with the DRS, puts himself back into first place. But behind us is Noldus for the second time of asking, can he do it? As we head down towards 14 we go. Blue Rocket goes defensive to not allow, but Hazara outbreaks himself in towards 14, but Laser can't get to the exit as Blue Rocket gets ahead, or stays ahead of Noldus as well.
Yeah, Hazara's got away with that a little bit, but I think because of that as well, Hazara really does not want anyone to get into that slipstream, into that inside as much as he can. But yeah, Hazara's got away with that a little bit. But like I said earlier, Hazara, Noldus, Kaname, obviously these their tyres now will be starting to come in a bit. As Blue Rocket and Noldus are now going side by side, but Blue Rocket uses a little bit of ERS, but it's not enough to fully get away with it. As yeah, good defending to be fair from Blue Rocket, pushes Noldus wide. I think that's quite fair to be fair. But yeah, Noldus, Kaname and Hazara, their tyres will definitely start to come alive now compared to the medium compound tyres. The guys on the medium compound tyres will now be starting to struggle a little bit. So Blue Rocket and Laser, when they pit, they'll be obviously pitting earlier. They'll have about a 4-5 second gap to Hazara, Noldus and Kaname when they pit. So those guys will definitely be on the charge. And normally what I've seen from yesterday's race is that the medium compound tyre definitely performs better on the second stint than it does on the first stint, as Blue Rocket's kind of went a little bit wide, and that's given Noldus the advantage to take the overtake done. And here comes Kaname as well, also on Blue Rocket, and maybe even on Noldus up the inside. Double move into one corner maybe for Kaname. Had a quiet race so far, to be fair from Kaname. Obviously he's just been there with the front pack but not really doing any overtakes. Kaname and Noldus still side by side, as now who's this? Blue Rocket now coming past Noldus, and now I don't know what Kaname did there, but it kind of broke really early, and Noldus had to basically take avoided action as Rising Star. Now gets ahead of Kaname. So Kaname gone from P3 down to P6. He's on 3 positions in basically a couple of corners.
Yeah, quite unnecessary risk there from Kanane because he made it 3 abreast into towards turn 14. So contact was about to be made, and you know why he pulled down into P6 because he overtook Nordis off the track, so he had to give the places back. That's why he slowed down. But
yes.
He slowed down in a bizarre place on the straight, which almost could have ended contact with Blue Rocket and Nordis potentially losing their wings. So I think Kanane needs to be more aware of how he's going to let people go because that could have been any contact daily. And Blue Rocket, unfortunately, is out of the DRS range. So that battle, them battling so hard to split them up there all the way down towards turn 14. We saw that Kaname had a double slipstream on Nordis and Blue Rocket in towards 14. And I think Blue Rocket backed off knowing that contact would have been made. Then it was down to Nordis and Kaname fighting it out. But he can't go side by side as Blue Rocket is weaving to signify to Nordis to let go because he knows he don't have DRS, so he's got to let him go to get back in the DRS range of Laser and Hazara there.
It's going to be difficult now for these guys to get back into the DRS of Laser because obviously Laser also has that DRS and Hazara, but it gives the opportunity now to both Laser and Hazara to pull away from this pack. I was just thinking now someone's coming into the pit, so I think that might have been Rising Star. Yes, it is Rising Star now into the pit lane, but that now gives Laser and Hazara the opportunity to pull away from obviously 3rd, 4th, 6th, 5th and 6th just to make a 2-way battle instead of a 6-way battle. So they definitely now are taking advantage of that, and you can see that they are pulling away 1.4 now. So that win might have gone away from the likes of Nordis, Blue Rocket and Kaname, and also Rising Star as well. Yeah, they were battling way a bit too hard there, and that's obviously now given Laser and Hazara the opportunity to now pull away as they're literally doing that right now. As Blue Rocket not really responding to Nordis, those medium compound tyres are falling away. So Laser really doing a pretty good job on those old medium compound tyres, not only to pull away from Nordis, but also to keep with Hazara. And obviously in later on in this Grand Prix, that might have helped him.
Indeed it is then. Laser able to stick in the DRS range, but Nordis is gaining slightly, but obviously he's on the better hard compound tyres, so he is gaining in the high speed, mid speed corners, but on the straights, that's where Nordis will lose time. He has broken the DRS from Blue Rocket, or just about. No, he hasn't because he was there at the detection point under a second there, so crucially Blue Rocket is still in DRS range to protect himself against Kaname. But with the likes of Laser, Blue Rocket as Fireblaze just get past Sweaty, puts himself into P6. Decent race, by the way, from Sweaty in 7th place there, doing a really good solid job so far in this Grand Prix. But Laser continues, so does Blue Rocket. Rising Star pitted for the early undercut, and we know undercuts are quite powerful, especially around this circuit as well. So I think Rising Star may get the jump on Laser, Nordis and Blue Rocket, but towards the end, those guys who will pit later on will have the entire advantage to just jump Rising Star there. So Rising Star in 50th place needs to capitalise on the free air he has to try and build up as much of a gap as he can before these guys do a pit stop. But Laser's doing a really good job, 12.5 metre compound tyres. Their peak performance will be gone so far. I'm surprised he's not really struggling, especially a track like this, but it's a low grip surface and it's so difficult. But it looks like the setup, his driver style, is working phenomenally for him so far. Keeping up with Hazara and all the tyres, he's doing a fantastic job. So let's see if he can keep it up throughout the remainder of this race.
Yeah, again, it's amazing pace from Laser, to be fair. Like, as we can see, he's on old medium compound tyres, staying with the Hazara, not only staying with the Hazara, but able to keep with the DRS, which is also helping Laser to pull away from Nordis. Around about this time now, you'd be stopping for the medium compound tyre, so Laser will be stopping right now or next lap. We'll obviously see in a couple of moments' time, but yeah, Rising Star should get the jump on these guys. Rising Star is about to catch up to Samad and Ickle, as Sweaty and Fireblaze now going side by side. Sweaty gets that move done on Fireblaze. Laser has decided to stay up for another lap. I think that's actually quite a good choice to do that, because as Laser will know, if he can keep with Hazara, then there's not really any need to pit in a way, and well, not until later on anyway, because obviously hard compound tyres don't normally wear on other circuits, whereas around this circuit the hard compound tyres do wear, and it's quite surprising, to be fair. But yeah, these hard compound tyres do definitely can wear around this track. You don't normally see that around other tracks, but yeah, with that could take advantage for later on in this Grand Prix if the later he can stop.
Yeah, later stop, it could be better, but at the same time, though, will he want to pit about 1 or 2 laps earlier? Because at the same time, he wants to try and do undercut on Hazara because he knows Hazara will be on the medium compound tyres. It's Laser's plan just to stick in DRS range, and when Hazara pits, he goes into the pit lane as well to put on a set of hard compound tyres. That could be his tactics, but it's helping him break out of DRS range and control his own race in P2. All the options are available for Laser, but we know Hazara will be on the better medium compound tyres towards the end. Harsh to medium strategy, that's what he's doing. But he won't pit just yet, Hazara, not to do 15 laps of the medium compound tyres, although later he's done an incredible job so far. Racing is back in the session then as he takes P16 in the Alpine. That's a massive shame because he had such good pace in the opening stint, but lag let him down. And once again, Hazara goes deep in towards turn 14. Quite reminiscent as well from last season when Hazara kept missing his braking points as Laser then finally pits as he slows down and needs to adhere to his pit lane speed limiter, which is about, let's see what it is, 80 kilometers an hour as he heads towards the pit lane. Nice and slowed down as he will see the Aston Martin crew run out of the garage with the hard compound tyres on. And we've got halfway to go in this Grand Prix. Let's see where he will join. Maybe Rising Star will get a jump on him.
Yeah, Rising Star coming out the final corner now. Rising Star should get that done. Obviously, you had a bit of traffic of Ickle and Samad that he had to get past as well. So obviously that didn't help a little bit. But I think he just comes out ahead of Laser. But Laser from 3 laps fresher compound tyres than Rising Star. So he's got to be a bit tactical here with Rising Star. Obviously, like we know, the DRS is powerful. So he's got to, I suppose, get the overtake done on Rising Star. But try and also pull away if he can and make sure he's not battling with Rising Star too hard, because that will obviously lose a lot of time to Hazara. I think that's definitely, he knows who he's racing now, and that is definitely Hazara. And maybe Nordus can catch up on those medium compound tyres. We'll have to find out when these guys pit. But yeah, it was critical for also Laser to get past Ickle and Samad as well. He's able to just do that as well. But Laser's right in the back of Rising Star right now, so he should get that overtake done down the back straight.
And plus Blue Rocket pitted on the same lap as Laser too, so Blue Rocket got stuck behind those two, has to make the move, which he has done now, got past Sammy with no problem. His Ferrari teammate of Fireblaze is up to P4, ahead of Sweaty and Hurricane, that pack up there. Glock is ahead of Tiger Bucher. Tiger Bucher is doing a solid job so far, a Division 2 driver. Laser is ahead of Rising Star, crucially for him as well, puts himself into P9. He does have a 3-lap tyre advantage as Fireblaze is in the pit lane then to get rid of his hardcore power tyres. Quite early than expected, but maybe looking to the undercut to try and get himself a clean air to get ahead of the likes of Tiger Bucher Glock as Tiger Bucher goes back down the inside of the Haas, but the Haas will try and sneak one up the inside in towards turn 1 and turn 2 as they're wheel to wheel right now, headed down towards 3 and 4. Let's see who wins in this battle there. It looks like Tiger Bucher has the advantage with the racing line. He does, as he puts himself into P6. So very clean, methodical racing as well from Tiger Bucher, the man that graduated from F3 to F2 and now is in F1 or Division 1, sorry, but as a reserve driver, not a full-time driver. So Tiger Bucher, they're having the pleasure to race 3 times this week in Division 1, 2 and 3, and so far Division 1 he's doing a mega job.
Yeah, I think today as well. I think literally today he's now basically a full-time driver in Division 2 now. He's obviously now stepped up. Oliver has given him the get-go to come into a full-time seat into Division 2. I believe he is replacing Martin in the Red Bull. Martin has decided to go down into Division 3, so I think Tiger Bucher is now a full-time driver in Division 2, taking Martin's seat.
Indeed he is. Tiger Bucher raced for Williams yesterday because Oliver wasn't here. He was teammates with Burmeister. Here comes Glock once again with the power of the DRS as he puts himself back into P6 there. Nice easy pass for him. But yes, Tiger Bucher raced for Williams yesterday, replacing as Rise of Star goes up into P8, replacing Oliver as he wasn't there, as Burmeister won the Grand Prix. And everybody dived into the pit lane then. Oh, Glock almost doing Lewis Hamilton as he almost hit the wall on the exit. Once again, squirming away with traction there. A very aggressive approach in the pits.
Harry Kane and Sweaty did the exact same thing as Rising Star goes up for the fastest lap. Obviously that DRS would have helped with that as well. But yeah, Harry Kane and Sweaty did the exact same thing as Glock and went a little bit too wide. Luckily the gravel isn't there anymore. and they get away with it. But obviously that's how Hamilton lost 2007 World Championship, really, is because he just went too deep, went into the gravel and beached it. Luckily the gravel has now disappeared and there's no gravel there now.
I don't think Rising Star's doing any favours, because I think they're switching trading DRS on the straight to try and boost themselves further along before those guys head on to mini compound tyres. But Rising Star seems to be struggling in the slow speed corners. I noticed this a few laps ago on this lap as well, as Fireblaze as Sweaty gets ahead of him, and now Langfell's in the back of him too. So Sweaty must have had a poor exit at turn 6 because he got bogged down heavily, and he's 1 second behind as well. So he just came on the pit lane, maybe adapted to the medium compound tyres, maybe they're just a bit too cold and therefore pushed him a bit too hard in the early stages, but once they get warmed up he should be okay. So Rising Star is struggling with pace. He is on older tyres, but that shouldn't really have a massive impact. But Laser has pulled a gap now of 7/10 of a second. Kaname has caused up to Nordis then, as Nordis now dives off the pit lane. This is critical to see where he will join. And crucially as well, can he catch up to those guys as he almost sped in the pit lane? That's as close as you can get.
Yeah, obviously the least time you lose, the better, really. But yeah, as we got Tiger Beaker also into the pit lane as well. But let's see how much time Nordis is going to lose. Still not in his pit. Oh, he is. It's a little bit of a glitch, but he's coming out now, and I think he's going to come out behind Blue Rocket and in clean air as well. And there's quite a gap between the top 6 and Fireblaze. Well, it's about a 9-second gap at the moment, so the pack has really spread out. We don't normally see that in Division 1, so quite surprising to see that today, is that we've got some big gaps in the road, but Sweaty and Fireblaze going side by side, and that wouldn't help to obviously, well, I think in their mind they now know that they haven't really got a chance to catch up to the leading pack now, obviously unless a safety car comes out. But I don't even think we haven't even seen a safety car this season, so unlikely of that happening today as well.
Sweaty's there just wandering off the racetrack again like he did in Belgium. He just almost went off the track before turn 6 as we head towards the braking zone. So I think Sweaty there needs to be a bit careful with the way he's turning in sometimes as he goes off the track. As Langfell has a moment too. Harry Kane's behind Langfell. What a dismal race so far. Ever since a mistake on lap 1 out of turn number 4, he just hasn't seemed to have the edge. Unfortunately for Harry Kane, he usually makes his way through the order like he did in Imola when he had a bad qualifier, but his teammate now enters the pit lane and so does Kaname. So this is going to be very interesting. How far back would they be? They're going to be on the medium compound tyres, the better tyres, 10 laps to go, they can take them towards the end, and we'll see how much of a gap Rising Star and Laser and Blue Rocket, of course, have built up. Nordis has just rejoined behind Blue Rocket, 1.1 seconds, as Hazara now makes his way out of the pit lane, 80 kilometers an hour, and there is the pack. He has been undercutted, but he's on the better medium compound tyres. PVG, the first one to pick up a 3-second time penalty. We just saw Sweaty actually set the fastest lap of the Grand Prix. Now Harry Kane sets the fastest lap of the Grand Prix as well, overtaking Langfell on the last lap. But this could be interesting. The hunt is on between the medium runners versus the hard runners. Can Laser win this Grand Prix, or will it be Harry Kane or Nordis? Because Nordis has rejoined ahead of Zara, so crucially, Nordis has done the undercut by pitting 1 lap earlier, gets ahead of Zara, and now he's putting pressure on Blue Rocket. But this should be easy pickings for Nordis because Blue Rocket is on hard compound tyres. So let's see if Nordis can overtake him immediately and follow first and second. Laser, as you can see in front of us, has almost built the gap by 1 second there. Rising Star is clinging on to the DRS. There's that white line to signal the detection point. He just got in towards DRS range then, so he's been saved gracefully, but in a few laps' time, he might lose it due to his tyres being much older. But here comes Nordis now. This should be take candy from a baby, as Martin Vunder would say. Nordis slips past Blue Rocket crucially now, and his focus is to chase after the top 2.
Yeah, and critically as well, he's got a car between himself and Hazara, so he just hopes now that Blue Rocket doesn't make it easy for Hazara to overtake into turn number 1. Hazara's not really that close anyway, which I don't think he will be, no. So Nordis' main concern now is trying to pull away as much as he can, build a gap over a second for this lap particularly, just to try and get a gap between himself and Hazara, because he will know Hazara is definitely the quickest guy around this track today, along with Laser as well. Obviously Laser's on a slower tyre to begin with, but again these tyres will come in, drawing end of the Grand Prix anyway. But yeah, this is critical now for Hazara is actually going to make a move now on Blue Rocket. Gets that move done. So Nordis will be looking back at that and thinking, great, he's now got like the fastest driver behind him. But obviously, as we for today anyway. So he won't be happy with that. But Nordis critically has just got into that DRS of Rising Star, so Hazara will not be able to get the overtake done very easily on Nordis. So I think the race at the moment is going to be looking like between Nordis and Hazara. I think this could be Nordis' first win on this game, to be fair, in SFR. He hasn't won a race last season, hasn't won one yet this season, but Nordis seems to be on a different level this season, and it's nice to see that.
Yeah, when things go his way, when people make contact with him or something goes wrong, Nordis always fights back, but almost lost the car as Blue Rocket now picks himself up a second time penalty. Hazara is on the back of Nordis. Remember, these two made contact down at turn 6. Hopefully that don't happen this season. Look at Hazara, able to have more grip. He sneaks up the inside. In towards turn 2 we go, but Nordis converted to the inside line on the next corner. In turn 3 and turn 4, Rising Star is really struggling. He holds up Hazara. Nordis gets past him as well, so a defence turned into an overtake opportunity as Hazara, when he go up the inside in towards turn 6. No, could that be crucial? He's not able to get past him now, but Rising Star also struggling on the hard compound tyres. Once again, Hazara makes the exact same move on this lap, puts himself into P3 then, so he didn't waste any time at all being stuck behind Rising Star. Now the top 3 are back together, but Laser is on the older hard compound tyres. Nordis in second place. He could be struggling. The only hope for him is they play around with the DRS. Now I know that Nordis and Laser are close friends. They're both in a party with each other right now, as I was there a few moments ago before I joined this party. So these two might help each other to keep Hazara at bay because they don't want Hazara winning. So let's see if Nordis and Laser work together, because in Division 2, it is Mr. Joker and Yusuf. Those two work together to try and keep the other people behind in different teams as well, in the RB and the Ferrari. But here comes Nordis to take the lead of the Grand Prix, but Hazara looks for a move, but not close enough. Ellie is in the chat. Her heart will be pounding as well. She finished P3 in Division 3's race, hoping Nordis gets his first podium here in China as well.
Yeah, I would love to see Nordis getting his first win as well. Obviously, we haven't seen it this season or last season, but Hazara's doing the exact same move that he did on the previous lap, but it actually works out this time and gets that move done on Laser. Laser, a bit unexpected of that move, but now the battle is on between Nordis and Hazara. This is going to be the battle of the lead, battle for the race win. Laser and Rising Star, they've got to also look out for, because Laser, all he needs to do now is just keep with these guys and just hope for some kind of mistake from these two to maybe take an advantage.
This has been an epic race so far between Nordis and Hazara, because Nordis lost the DRS member the first stint as he was fighting very intensely with Blue Rocket and Kaname. But Blue Rocket and Kaname, P5 and P6, they're struggling so far, but Nordis has done an epic job to pit one lap later, or before, sorry, than Hazara, to get the undercut on him and potentially try and win this Grand Prix. But we know what Hazara's like. He's very clean, he's very methodical in terms of his attacking. He's an ETA for a reason, and he knows the game as well. But Dragon has retired in the pit lanes. That's it for him. Here comes Hazara now with the DRS open as he slips past Nordis, but we know Nordis will have the DRS on him next time round. So maybe towards the end, it could be about who's going to be first on the last 3 laps of the Grand Prix. We saw that between Hurricane and Hazara last season, when Hurricane was hunting down Hazara for the race win. He got him, but Hurricane made a mistake out of turn 14. Hazara got him back and ultimately won the Grand Prix, even though he picked up a post-race penalty due to contact with Nordis in towards turn 6. There comes the Sauber at the pit lane. That's Dragon, who's retired, as he unfortunately is out of the Grand Prix. 2 people are out, 16 still remain, and it's going to be an interesting battle between the top 3.
I think Blue Rocket's got caught out with that Sauber as well, because he's just lost the position to Kanane. He was in that battle for P3, P4, and I think he might have got a bit distracted from that Sauber, and he's gone offline and gone wide, and Kanane's took that position. But Kanane, ignoring yellow flags, there was a yellow flag from Dragon, and gets that 10-second penalty. I'm not 100% sure whether that can be appealed though.
Oh, what a massive shame for Kaname. He already had a warning to let Nordis through after overtaking him off the circuit. What a disappointing race so far for Kaname in P5. I also noticed that Rise Star, Kaname and Blue Rocky all had troubles in turn 4. Rise Star lost a lot of time. 2.5 seconds back now. We can see Laser is struggling to stay in DRS range. Those medium compound tyres are working a treat for the likes of Nordis and Hazara. But how will Nordis play this out? Will he stay behind Hazara? Will he use it for DRS bait on the last few laps of the Grand Prix? Nordis can play a game with Hazara, although he squirms into turn 14, does the Red Bull driver. I noticed that every time, every single braking zone, the rear just kicks out at him because I think he's running quite high front brake bias, it must be said, maybe 54, 55 at the front there to cause the rears to lock up, so maybe he needs to up it up a notch to make sure he does have the stability of braking. But Nordis here, this is a golden opportunity to win this Grand Prix. Blue Rocket has retired in the pit lane, and here comes Sweaty and Harry Kane going side by side. Here comes Glock on Fireblaze as we go 3 abreast in towards turn 1 between these guys as Sweaty and Glock side by side. And here comes Fireblaze sneak up the inside of 2 of them as well as we continue the battle towards turn 3 and turn 4. These 4 got very heated indeed, and Sweaty is still pouncing on Fireblaze. He does get past him, puts himself into P7, and Glock might take advantage of him as well, going down towards turn 6. He does, goes up the inside. Fireblaze is moving, slightly breaking Glock, cuts the corner as Fireblaze stays ahead for the time being then. So Fireblaze did wander over to the right hand side and caught Glock out. He had to cut the corner, maybe picked up a warning for that one. So Glock won't be happy about that one indeed. But back towards the front end of the field, it is still Nordis versus Hurricane because Laser has dropped away out of the DRS dramatically as well.
I love that you keep saying it's Harry Kane, but it's not Harry Kane, it's Hazara.
Sorry.
But yeah, with Nordis, I think all he needs to do now is just stay in DRS of Hazara and maybe go for an opportunity on that final lap. I think that's probably his best opportunity to take that win. There's no point battling it out with him now because they're just going to lose time. So the best way for Nordis to do it is on that final lap and properly go for it on that final lap. That's all he can do. Otherwise, like I said, there's not really any point doing it anywhere else because he won't have DRS. DRS is powerful. No, sorry, it was my headphones again. Having a problems. But yeah, like I said, best move to do it is definitely on that final lap as PVG gets another 3-second penalty.
As Glock spun up the final corner in turn 14, unfortunately. I'm not quite sure if there's contact made between him and Fireblaze, but he's spun, he's down into P12 now, as PVG did pick up another 3-second penalty in the Aston Martin there, but his Aston Martin teammate still in P3 doing a fantastic job, so Laser will pick up his second podium of the season, maybe potentially taking the championship lead away from Jensen, as Jensen is not here tonight in the other Mercedes. Not quite sure where he is. He's probably playing COD as always, as here comes Nordis now, right to the back of Hazara. But like you said, I think Nordis just has to be patient, stick behind Hazara, use it for DRS, and overtake him later on in the Grand Prix. But Nordis also needs to minimise mistakes because if Nordis makes one small mistake, we know Hazara is a dark horse in league racing. He will take advantage of any single mistake as well. So Nordis, he knows there's a big chance of winning, and when you're looking for your first win of the season, the nerves, the pressure start kicking in. You make small mistakes. We've all been there before. So Nordis, he needs to keep calm and composed. He needs to make sure he keeps those mistakes to a minimum. He knows the victory's right there. Use the DRS. He's got the same tyres, maybe one lap older, but don't make too much of a difference. So the win is right there for Hazara, but this should be an interesting fight. For the second race in a row, or second Chinese Grand Prix in a row, Hazara finds himself under massive pressure again from the likes of Harry Kane, but this time it's Nordis.
Yeah, but yeah, we are seeing at the moment that Hazara is definitely the quicker guy. He definitely pulls away in obviously sector 2, the end of sector 1 as well. So we know that Hazara is definitely quicker than Nordis in the corners, but obviously, like I said, with the DRS, Nordis just closes straight back up again. That's the only disadvantage that Hazara's got with that, is that he can't do anything about that. He just has to try his best, try and pull out a 1 second gap if he can, but again, even that's just difficult doing that. But yeah, I know. I just hope Nordis does the right thing because I am kind of rooting for him. Sorry, Hazara, if you are listening after this race, but I would love to see Nordis getting a win.
You can definitely tell the DRS games. On the other hand, though, Hazara's countering this. He knows that Nordis is going to go for this on the final lap.
Yes.
So I think he might be saving battery as well on the final lap to use it all down the straight and overtake him later on in the Grand Prix. As Harry Kane does overtake Sweaty, puts himself into P6 ahead of the McLaren driver. Fireblaze has dropped away dramatically as well. He was in this battle, but maybe contact with him and Glock was made, and therefore he was out of it. Harry Kane has recovered up into P6 as well. Laser has lost a lot of time now towards Nordis and Hazara. I thought Laser was able to use his tyres to stay in the DRS range, but those mighty medium compound tyres towards the end being much quicker and better. But there is 3 laps left to go. Who is going to get the first win of the season? Would it be Hazara or will it be Nordis? Hazara makes his debut back as well here in SFR as Samir picks himself up a 3-second tablet team. We've got Langfell and Glock down the order, scuffing away for P11, the minor pain points positions. But yeah, I really hope, like you said, I'm not rooting for well, I am rooting for him, but to be unbiased, I hope he gets his first win this season. No offense to Hazara. Me and Hazara are close friends. We've been good friends for like 7 years now. I've known him since the beginning of my league racing career. He has helped me out massively as well. So I do support them both. I don't mind who wins as long as it's a good race, but on the biased side, I just hope Nordis wins this Grand Prix because he deserves it. He thoroughly deserves this Grand Prix. And to go up against this man who is in ETA Esports, you know how big that is, and also PSGL F1, who got demoted into F2 now, but he's definitely got the pace still. So Nordis is fighting with a PSGL driver and an ETA driver as well. So he should be happy about his pace so far as Sweaty gets past Harry Kane. This is a big chance for Nordis to prove himself in league racing.
Yeah, as we've now got 2 laps of the race to go, so really getting close to the end now. As Kaname is also getting close to Laser, just over a second with that, but obviously with Kaname's 10-second penalty, I think it is, obviously he won't confirm his podium finish today for Kaname, but he might be able to appeal that. I'm not 100%, like I said, I'm not 100% sure whether he can appeal it or not, because that yellow flag was for Draugen when he retired in the pit lane. So like I said, I'm not 100% sure whether he can appeal that or not, but we'll have to find out with the stewards. It's up to the stewards at the end of the day, not us. But yeah, like I said, with that DRS, 5.6 seconds is the gap between Laser and Nordis, and that's just because of the DRS, obviously Hazara being on the quicker tyre as well, but these hard compound tyres would definitely be the better tyre now, but it's just going to be a bit too late for Laser and obviously Rising Star to catch up to these guys now. So 4 tenths of the difference between Nordis and Harry Kane. Nordis, obviously, I've just done the same thing. Hazara coming up to that hairpin now, and both of these will definitely be going for it on this final lap. So this should be an entertaining final lap, but I think he won't be doing any kind of overtake until that back straight.
Yeah, turn 14 is when it's going to happen, unless DRS games are played. But this is the final lap of the Grand Prix. 5.4 kilometers left to go. This is Nordis' big chance to win. But Hazara, at the same time, has been regenerated his battery. He knows that Nordis is playing the game to stay behind him until the DRS. So Hazara's battery will be charged in defense mode. But look at him squirming out of turn 3 and turn 4. Nordis can see a podium, can see a win right to this side. He's searching for his first podium of the season. He's searching for his first win. Can he do it here in China? 2 seasons ago, here at the Chinese Grand Prix, Nordis went on the wrong strategy. He was destined to be on the podium 2 seasons ago at China to pick up his first podium of the season, but he couldn't do so after Ramavaj overtook him with the better medium compound tyres. Nordis lost the podium. He was searching for a podium for the first time last season, but look at this, they both squirm away in turn 10. The pressure is ramping on, but Nordis is close enough in these slow speed corners. All he needs is a decent exit. He'll have the DRS. It's all about traction in this corner here, in this long right-handed we go. It's as Hazara squirms away, but the DRS, the battery will be used. Hazara is going defensive on the inside, but the DRS should be enabled now. Can Nordis get past him as he gains as we head towards turn 14? Nordis takes the lead, but Hazara will go back down the inside in towards turn 14. The wheel to wheel. Who can get a better exit as they bang wheels? Fight for traction. Here we are, heading towards the final corner. Nordis has done it. He has done it. But here comes Hazara. Hazara will take the win. Oh, yes, he does. Oh, my goodness me. Hazara wins by 0.028 seconds. Once again, it's a close finish. Nordis will be absolutely disappointed with that one, it must be said. But whoa, what a close finish that was. I can't believe it. What a last lap. This reminds me of last season. Hazara versus Harry Kane. Oh, you got a feel for Nordis there. He's still looking for his first win. But he's still got a first podium. That was unbelievable, indeed. My heart was going for Nordis, literally. It was going. I really wanted to win.
I mean, I think Hazara definitely had more ERS. Obviously, Hazara made Nordis to go offline, obviously into that final corner. So Hazara kind of took advantage of that. Obviously, Nordis had to go a little bit deeper than Hazara. So Hazara got the better exit, used the... I think, like I said, I think Hazara had more ERS than Nordis on that straight. It was literally a drag race to the finish, as Hazara was able to take that win. But yeah, that's very unfortunate for Nordis. But great little battle there from Hazara and Nordis.
Nordis has got to wait for a win this season. I think he will get a win this season due to his pace. But let's just talk about his composure. I didn't see him making any mistakes other than a little one, like skirting out the corners, but that's going to be obvious mistakes, just small mistakes like that. But not enough to break Hazara out of DRS range. But look at the gap, 0.028. That's just unbelievable. Nordis, I got a feel for him, but Hazara did a lovely switchback, it must be said, and got him just on the line there with the DRS and a bit more battery at his disposal to use to get past him. But what a race that was. We thought Laser had the chance, but the alternate strategy from hards to mediums worked better on this track, with the medium compound tyres working really well for those people who went from hards to mediums, but the strategy is usually mediums to hards. But here in China, it all changed. It's a Norwegian 1-2 with Hazara finishing in first place, Nordis in second, Laser third ahead of Rising Star. Better race for Rising Star this time around, 9th to 4th. Sweaty from 18th to 6th can name P5 ahead of Harry Kane. Fireblazer P8 ahead of Tiger Buka inside the top 10 here in Division 1 Glock. Then Langfall, PVG, Ickle, Samid, Racing, Blue Rocket, Dragon, and a Power who retired early doors in this Grand Prix. And no safety cars or virtuals once again, as Nordis has joined the party. Laser should come through as well, and Hazara will come through as well. So it's going to be an interesting podium interview, because it looked like in the first stint that Laser had the advantage, but the medium compound tyres just worked better in the end for those people, and Laser just dropped off there. But still a good result for Laser. He may take the championship lead away from Jensen, but we're just waiting for Laser to join, because we go from P3 to P1, so we just wait a few seconds there as he has joined in the podium interviews. Then we can kickstart these podium interviews. Laser, I can't remember where you started, but I think it was down to like P5 and P6. You got a mega start. You and Nordis made your way through to get the podium ahead of Rising Star and Blue Rocket as well, and you stuck behind Hazara in the first stint. Now, on the medium compound tyres, your pace was mega, and I thought you had a big chance of winning the Grand Prix, but when you switch over to the hards, the alternate strategy today was a bit better.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, I think third was the best I could achieve there, like top two in terms of pace on another level, so I'm quite happy with that. On the mediums, I didn't really like the mediums in the first stint, to be honest. I thought my hard pace was actually quite good, but it's just the others were quicker. So yeah.
Did you think there was a big chance to win it because you were able to keep up with Hazara despite being on all medium compound tyres? When you came out of the pit lane, I think you knew you had to build up a gap before those guys went to the medium. So you tried to work with Rising Star, but I think Rising Star was struggling even on newer hard compound tyres as well. So you had to get past him immediately, because you did trade DRS at one point, you two, but I think you had to leave it behind because he wasn't really keeping up with the pace you wanted to keep going. So I think that, just the ultra strategy to work better today.
Yeah, I mean, with Rising Star, I think his tyres were maybe 3 laps older than mine, so he never really had a pace to match my pace at that point in the race, so I had to get past him. And even if he walked with me, I think the other two would have still caught. They were just quicker around here. But yeah.
It's a P3 finish, and it's your second podium this season. Things are going your way, and also you might take the championship lead away from Jensen because you were too far behind as well. So I think you will take the championship lead. How does it feel to be the championship leader here in China? Because you've done a good job so far, keeping it nice and clean, keeping those consistent results, and how are you feeling for the next upcoming races too?
Well, yeah, it's obviously good to take championship lead, but at the moment I'm just looking at it race by race, trying to do well. But upcoming races, I need to have a look from the calendar. I've got it up. So Singapore, I quite like. Monza, I'm not a big fan of. Abu Dhabi, I'm not great at. Brazil, I quite like. Japan's not too bad. So yeah, apart from a few, I'd say this calendar's quite good. Out of the ones left.
Well, good luck. Good luck for the Singapore Grand Prix, and we'll see what happens there. Mads, you got any questions for Laser?
Yeah, obviously you got, well, first off, good race today. Good to see you back on the podium once again. Yeah, I've obviously seen you that I've not had like the most brilliant start that we obviously saw from you last season, and obviously finish on the podium every single race up to like round 10 or something like that. But what's your obviously it's Singapore next. So again, are you hoping for another podium? Are you hoping to stay with that front pack like you did today?
Well, this season the grid is so competitive. Like, if I qualify well, I know I can do well. Like, every time I qualify well, my race pace is up there at the top, and my quali pace drags me down a lot. And even today, I think, like, it wasn't too bad today because it's already quit round here, but I think fifth, I should have still been a bit higher in quali, but, like, it didn't hurt me because I only had 4 other people ahead, and some of them were very quick compared to normally when I have, like, 9 ahead. So, yeah.
Well, anyway, good luck for Singapore next week. Yeah, just hope you go well there.
Yeah, thanks very much. Cheers.
You're welcome. Moving on to the man in second place. You missed the victory. Your first ever victory could have been there, but unfortunately it was taken away from you within your grasp by 0.028 seconds. But how are you feeling? Is it mixed emotions? Are you happy because you did? You've got to be happy with yourself because Hazara is a very difficult guy to beat indeed. He's in PSGL, he's in ETA, and you went up a guy like Hazara, a high caliber driver throughout the whole race. So, how are you feeling?
Obviously disappointed. I was content with it, but then Hazara stopped pushing so hard. So that's when I thought, okay, I can stay in this DRS and overtake him on the last lap. And then I did. I was wanting to maybe cut in front of him so he couldn't send one back, but I thought it was too close, so I just didn't want to like jump in front of him and then he jumps into the back of me and then we ruin both our races. Looking back, I could have maybe used some less DRS, but I really thought I'd cleared him. But obviously he's a very talented driver, and I am I guess proud to have been this close and almost snatched a victory battling him. But at one point I thought I had it, so obviously when you don't have it, it's very disappointing.
I know it is, but you still had the pace today. Even though you dropped out the DRS in the first stint because there was a moment between you, Kiname, and Blue Rocket. Talk us to that moment because it was 3 abreast in down towards turn 14. Then heading towards the final corner, Kiname overtook you off the track, so therefore he had to give the place back. But he did it in a very bizarre place in the middle of the road, so it compromised you 3 a bit, and it dropped you out the DRS range. So what was your thinking through there? Was you just going to settle for P3 at that time?
I don't know what really happened. It was just I was trying to get back past Blue Rocket. He was fighting it. So I was out of ERS, and then it just got a bit argy-bargy, and then Kiname came up was on my outside. I guess he got an illegal overtake, which I honestly don't really remember what happened, but yeah, I didn't think it was over because I genuinely believed, I thought P2 was on because I believed the hard mediums to be the better strategy around here. So I did think I could get laser purely just off strategy. But yeah, no, yeah, it's all a bit of a blur.
Yeah, it is indeed, especially fighting with Hazard in the last few laps. Talk us through your nerves as well, because it was your first real chance of picking up a win in your SFR career. So talk us through, were you calm at the time? Was your heart beating? How did you manage to stay composed during that fight?
Well, my goal was I had a good gap behind, and then Hazara was obviously I could tell he stopped pushing because I managed to cling onto the DRS every time. So I don't know if he was recharging his battery or he was trying to make me go past him, because yeah, as you can see at the last lap, he definitely was still a lot faster than me. So I think yeah, it was just trying, like, because obviously if you watch esports and all that and there's DRS on the last lap, you always want us to be the car behind. So I was just focusing on that, and as soon as I could tell he stopped pushing as hard, I could just try and save my ARS. So at that point I was pretty calm, but going on to the final straight, I was obviously, that's when the nerves ranked up, but not until then, because I knew it was pretty okay at that point. I wasn't sure I was going to get past him, but yeah, the nerves didn't kick in until I guess the last lap.
Yeah, we knew what you were doing, because when you cleared Laser, it was just you and Hazard for the last 9-10 laps. So you stayed behind him to the DRS, didn't overtake him. That was very tactical indeed, because like you said, you don't want to be first on the last lap, as Hazard knows back in Bahrain a few days ago. You don't want to be first. But yeah, congratulations today, Nordis. You did a fantastic job. I know you're disappointed. I know how frustrating it is to lose a win like that in the last corner, on the line. Happened to myself a few months ago, so yeah, I definitely know the feeling and the pain. But you're definitely on course for your first win of the season. It depends where though. But what's going to be, where do you think you can try and get your first win? Is it Singapore? Are you strong there, or what other tracks are you looking forward to?
I'll have a look at the calendar. Singapore, I like it a lot. I haven't really driven it as I've gotten, I guess, since I've turned down assists a lot. Like, I haven't done league races on it, and I haven't been that strong on it in the past. But I do enjoy driving it, so hopefully me enjoying driving it, maybe it may increase some pace. It's obviously also very disappointing, because I know because of how close the field is, I'll only get, and I don't have such a pace advantage as the top guys do. I know I only get a set few opportunities during the calendar, during the season, to try and claim a win, and I'm very afraid, and I believe that this was the chance and that it's just slipped out of my hands, which makes it all a bit more disappointing, because I feel like I have to practice a lot to get into this pace, and obviously I have, well, not obviously, but I have a lot of stuff going on in real life with work and uni and stuff, so I cannot keep that same amount of practice up. So yeah, it's I definitely I don't know. I'll have to see. I don't think there's a set track. I do. China's been a strong track for me in the past, so I hoped this, especially when I was in the top 4 after like 10-11 laps and everything was going good. I thought maybe I could pull something off and this would be the one. I'm not so sure if I could get this close again.
It's probably revenge for Hazard after missing a win last season in China, because you reported him at turn 6. So maybe revenge there. I'm only kidding, by the way. But congratulations on P2 orders. I know you're frustrated, but at the same time, it's progress. It's a step up, and hopefully you'll be searching for your first win. You've definitely got it in you, but like you said, it is so tight, this grid, and the guys ahead do have a pace advantage, like the esports drivers like Nico Rassenberg, Bobby, Hazara as well. So good luck for the next race. And Madsal, you got any questions for Nordis?
No, I haven't, but all I'm saying is, Nordis, is this is a brilliant improvement from you. I don't know what's improved from last season to this season, but last season you seemed to be like in the midfield pack, whereas this season you're definitely there with the front field, well, front-ish pack anyway. All I'm going to say is just keep it up, mate. That first win, the way you're going, that first win will definitely come this season. So all the best for the rest of the season.
Thank you, mate. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Moving on to Hazara then. So Hazara, welcome back to SFR. You pick up another win here. Your first win was back in Mexico, and once again you controlled it beautifully with a fantastic switchback on the final corner as well to sustain the pressure. You knew what was coming with Nordus sticking in your DRS of the whole race or the last 10 laps of the Grand Prix. So you knew to save battery, used it all on the straight, then did a fantastic switchback. Well done today, mate. Congratulations on P1 and qualified. Where the hell did that lap time come from? A 29.5. Do you know how mental that is?
Thank you so much. I don't know if it's mental or not, but
It is for me.
I guess no. Yeah, maybe. I mean, I felt like I drove okay in the first two sectors, and then the third one I hit pretty well. I felt like I hit a bump when I exited the corner onto the straight, so I'm not sure if I lost anything there. It kind of made the car jump, but then I obviously had a tow from my teammate. Thanks to him for that, and yeah, I was surprised when I mean, I wasn't surprised. I saw the delta was 5/10 up, but yeah, it was good. I mean, the last lap I did before I came into the session was a 29.7 with the last sector, which was only 1/10 quicker than what I did in the session. So yeah, I'm not sure, to be honest. I think it was a good lap, but I didn't feel like it was anything extraordinary.
Okay. But I think the rest of the guys can definitely disagree that that lap time was extraordinary because from our point of view, it's just a mega lap time. 29.5 was amazing. But in the race, you went head and toe with a lot of drivers, and it was just you and Nordus towards the end as well. Talk us through your emotions on the last lap. Were you calm and cool and collected? You've been in these situations plenty of times. You're in a high esports team. You're in a big league as well. So I bet you were just calm towards the last lap of the Grand Prix.
I was calm, but to be fair, I had no reason to be calm because I was in a load of trouble there because I wasn't really driving too well. I was trying to gap him, like trying, not like exhausting my ERS or anything, but just using a bit every lap to try to gap him, and then I saw that I couldn't get past like 7/10, and then I just gave up, to be honest. And then yeah, I wanted him to overtake me, obviously, because you want the DRS on the last lap, but he's obviously a smart driver. He wasn't going to fall for that, so he stayed behind. And then, yeah, I just didn't drive well the last couple of laps, so ended up kind of giving him a ramp onto the last straight. I was kind of, yeah. I couldn't do anything more than I did, so I tried to brake late, which I did.
I'm sure you're well aware about Red Bull's statistics in the past few seasons as well, because they picked up loads of wins. Last season, Red Bull picked up 12 wins, 11 with Hurricane and 1 with Bear Remy, the Canadian Grand Prix, because he had no penalties, where the rest did. But you pick up Red Bull's first win of the season. How does it feel?
It feels good. Sorry, I was interrupted there. Yeah, but it feels great. I mean, I don't know. It was good. This is my, I think, second race this season. Not sure. I drove in Mexico and then I drove today. So yeah,
yes,
it feels good to win. Yeah, it was a good fight with Noldus. Give him a lot of credit for that fight. It made it more enjoyable to win, obviously, when you have a guy pushing you until the last 10 meters. So credit to him. His win will come soon, I think, because he's driven very well today. And yeah, maybe I should have pitted one lap earlier when I look back at it, because he got a, I think, 3.5 second undercut by pitting lap 16. I think that was the optimum pit lap. But yeah, after that I couldn't get him out of my DRS, so that made for a better race. So there's that. I'm happy.
Were you and Matthias working together in a pie in this race?
Not during the race. I mean, he obviously gave me the tow, which I didn't expect him to do. So I tried to repay him by giving him one back. My skills in doing so wasn't too great. So yeah, I think his toes were better than mine, but I tried. And yeah, in the race, I didn't really drive in close proximity to him, so I couldn't really work with him. So it was just, I was pretty much on my own during the race, but yeah, no big issues.
Well done today, mate. Another fantastic drive and great switchback as well in the final corner. Just beating Noldus by 0.028. Mansell, you have any questions for Hazara?
Again, I haven't, but another great, well, not another, but a fantastic race from you, Hazara. Obviously able to not only qualify, that qualifying time, obviously nearly 6/10 up quicker than anyone else, was incredible. And then obviously able to kind of control the pace in that second stint in that race. Obviously you had Noldus putting you under pressure, but I think you knew exactly what he was doing there. So yeah, no, again, good defending for that final corner and get him on that final corner as well. Obviously you took the win from that, but whatever you're doing for the rest of the season, because I think you're down as a reserve. So whatever you're doing for the rest of the season, hopefully we'll see you again soon, and hopefully we'll see you qualify more as well, like you did today, and we'll see you up there once again at some point.
Yeah, thank you so much. I hope to be back at some point.
I would love to see a fight between you and Volakongan. I think that'll be a mega fight. Volakongan's been here, in the past few races, but this time he hasn't showed. So yeah, it'll be a mega fight between you two.
Yeah, I know, he's quick. I've obviously driven against him a lot in Norwegian leagues and other leagues, so yeah, he's probably the guy I've been racing the most during the last 5 or 6 years. So yeah, we always seem to find each other on track. So he's a great racer, good guy. And yeah, maybe we'll race in SFR too. I'm not sure.
We'll see if that does happen or not, but thank you so much for the top 3. And Owen Manser, what a race, mate. Thank you so much once again for commentating. It's been a fantastic race.
Yeah, another amazing race. It does seem like, especially today, it seemed like the pack kind of grew out and spread out a little bit more than we normally see in Division 1, but obviously that was probably because of how the track is. You do, like I say, you do lose the back end quite a lot. It is just a crap circuit in my opinion, but Singapore is a bit more 90-degree corners, so traction shouldn't be too difficult. So again, it's anyone's race. Jensen may or may not be back next week. Obviously he's been on form recently and taking 3 wins in a row. Obviously last week he didn't win, but hopefully Jensen will be back to maybe challenge for that championship lead once again. We'll obviously see if he turns up. Obviously it was quite late for him to say that he's not turning up, but yeah, no, on to Singapore next. It should be a good race.
We are done here at the Chinese Grand Prix. Pre-season testing also started in Bahrain with Kimi Antonelli first in the first practice session, and the second one it was Lando Norris, as I think it's day 2 tomorrow, same time as day 3. So pre-season testing is back in Bahrain. But yeah, for SFR we are done here in China. Join us back at the Singapore Grand Prix for Division 3 and Division 4. Oliver Smith, Tiger Bucher commentating for Division 3. Charlie Smith for Division 4. Division 2, Simo and myself. And also Owen Mansell and myself at Division 1 as well at 7:30 each day. So join us back. But for now, goodbye. Have a good night.